Hello and welcome back to Suspended Animation. I'm your host, Dennis Betholkis, and this is Preacher, Season 4, Episode 5, Bleak City. Not a bad episode. I mean, it didn't move things along quite as much as the last episode did, but it still was there. Yeah, that's all I can say about it. Um, I'm kind of disappointed because it's been really hot here today. And so we had a lot of flies and stuff like that. Just all of a sudden this explosion of flies, and I had my mint julep ruined by a fly. So I'm down to the water now, which is really kind of disappointing. So I had half my mint julep done, and then yeah, I'm done. But anyway, you're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Preacher. Before I start, actually, I want to do some business, get that out of the way before I do the spoiler alert. Let's see here. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you don't like what you see, you can hit the dislike button. I just ask you to go down in the comment section, tell me what it is you don't like, give me a little constructive criticism. If you want to see when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below. If you've already hit the bell, don't hit it again. It will unclick it. You can go into the bell settings, get as many or as little notifications as you want. Excuse me. If you want to see when I'm going to be on live again next, or see my schedule, you can go up to suspendedfanimation.com. I've got my schedule up there. I've also got it up on my Facebook page as well. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I also have a Patreon, but I don't have any tiers set up as of yet, which I will at some point in time. Give me some time on that one. So there, that's all my stuff and up there. And Apple Crow, let me know if you want the Sid pin or the David pin, because no one's getting back to me on the David pin on that one. So you've got first bid, and after that, it's going to go to Eric Schaefer for the whatever's left over, since he's the second runner-up on that one. All right, let me know, and I will send that out. So that was for the Legion pins, by the way. With that said, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the shit out of this episode. If you've not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video, of course, and you can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you, Viking Bitch, for the paddle. The Sid pin. All right. No problem, Apple Crow. That will go out to you probably tomorrow or Tuesday. All right, let's see what we got here. So I missed the first minute, maybe two of this because I had a little hiccup on my computer there. I had to restart and redo everything. It was kind of a pain in the ass. So I know the Saint of Killers was just kind of sitting around waiting for Jesse to use the voice. I just didn't see that part of it. I did see Jesse trying to rent a car, though. That's where I came in. And his name comes up on the computer saying that he's wanted. And the guy behind the counter is just freaking out and stuttering and just, it's like, we don't have any cars to rent. And Jesse's like, you know what, whatever it tells you on the screen, it's not that bad. He goes, I'm not armed, but I am dangerous. I have a power that I can make you do things. I made a cop in Texas once makes his own balls. He goes, I'm not going to do that to you. I'm going to give you free will. He goes, if I don't get to where I need to go, the end of the world is going to happen. And this isn't going to matter anyway. He says, so I'm giving you I'm letting you do your own free will. If you give me the car to rent, I can probably save everybody. And the guy rents in the car. And Jesse turns back to him, just before he leaves, and uses the voice to tell him that he's not going to stutter anymore. And the guy thanks him. Of course, when he uses the voice, the Saint hears him. The Saint of Killers hears him and gets up and goes after Jesse with Eugene in tow. Yeah, exactly. Jesse does that one good deed, So Jesse's in the rental car and he's leaving and he's driving. And first of all, he gets in the wrong side because, of course, it's Australia. So they drive on the passenger side, what we would consider the passenger side. So the right-hand side of the car instead of the left-hand side of the car. And he gets in, he's driving down and down and down. And just before he's getting ready to leave, he stops at the exit to the parking garage. And just as he's about to pull out, this big semi comes, this garbage truck comes through and almost creams him. This is a little bit of the quote unquote comedy that they're doing, the comic relief, which has been plaguing this season lately, like the little jokes, one-offs and stuff like that. They got to stop that. So After the truck passes by, Jesse looks and sees that Eugene is coming out of the office where the clerk was, and we hear the Santa killers inside actually killing the clerk with the guns, and they recognize each other, and Jesse's like, Eugene? And he goes, preacher? And then he says, go. And Jesse hauls ass. It was supposed to be comedy, Viking bitch. Yeah, it was supposed to be comedy. It was pretty dumb comedy as it was. The Santa Killers comes out of the office after killing the clerk, and he gets both guns trained on Jesse's car when Jesse rounds the corner. Yeah, I agree with you, Apple Crow. Yeah, the joke people really need to lighten up on some of the shit and just go with the damn story. Just go with it as it is. So Jesse's driving, and he's like, you know what? He's telling himself Eugene could take care of himself. The Santa Killers wanted him dead. He'd be dead. And he comes to a stop at a stop sign out in the middle of nowhere. It's a freeway. And he goes to move, and this gigantic semi comes and almost takes him out. Yeah, exactly. This is it. They do it again. And it's like, really? Really, guys? You need to do this joke. It wasn't funny the first time. It's still not funny the second time. Move it along. In the meantime, we have Tulip and Jesus walk into a bar. And who do they see but Cass? And the Cass and Tulip hug, of course. And Cass fills in Tulip on everything that happened. He tells her about the shitty vampire in New Orleans and how he turned all his disciples against him, and they ate him and all that stuff. And they're drinking, of course. And then Cass, asks him, well, what happened to your hair? And, because it's blonde now. And he doesn't answer her, actually. He doesn't say what happened to his hair. We just, I'm pretty sure it was just for another role. And he didn't want to change his hair. So that was how they did it, which was kind of funny. And then we end up having her asking him, did you tell Jesse that we slept together? And he's like, she goes, don't worry, I'm not going to be mad. I'm not. And he goes, yeah, I told them. And she punches him in the face like, Jesus Christ, So the angel who got cast out of, Masada there is going to go change. And he walks by Jesus, who's playing video games. And they both look at each other and look each other up and down and don't say anything. And the angel takes off. He just walks over to go and get changed. And, Cass is like, Jesus Christ, huh? He's pretty hot. And, yeah, and Tulip's like, yeah, right? Oh, man. So we see the maid coming in to give Jesus his breakfast, and she's trying to wake him up, of course, gently, and she pulls back the covers, and, of course, there's just pillows there, and she gasps. Featherstone is coming to Hairstar to basically say, I fucked up. I can't find the Messiah, the Son of God. I don't know what happened to Tulip and Cass. They both escaped. We don't know where the whereabouts of Jesse at this point. Excuse me. She goes, I deserve to die by your hand. And Hairstar is like, you're right. And he's got his gun in his hand when the phone rings. And he answers it. And he's like, what? When did this happen? And as he's fielding the call, Hoover 2 picks up his gun and it points it at Featherstone. She goes, no, you don't get to kill me. It's Hairstar. That's who I'm dying by his hand. And he goes, what does it matter to you? She goes, if you try, you're going to regret this. And he goes, what, with your brains on me? And she goes, no, you're not going to even get the choice at this point. And that's when Hairstar finds out that Jesus is missing now at this point too. He's telling the people to go and check down where the lepers are and all this kind of stuff, because he likes that kind of thing. And yeah, she goes, I deserve the right to actually get killed by Hairstar's hand. And he goes, you deserve the right to just be rolled into a tarp and rolled up and disposed of, is what Hairstar says. And so Hoover 2 picks up the gun again. He's going to fire at her. And he gets distracted for a second. And she goes running and jumps out the window. And we have the wingsuit again. And it's actually the same fucking shot is what it is. I don't know if it's from the comics, quite honestly, Apple Crow. It's been so long. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed they used the same shot over again, which meant they didn't know what they were going to do with Featherstone. They really didn't know. And yeah. So Hairstar wants to know where the hell Hitler is. And he goes down and Hitler is playing racquetball with an old lady. and winning, of course. And Herrstar comes in and starts beating the shit out of Hitler and says, and asks him finally, he goes, "What did you think of the Messiah when you met him?" And he says, Hitler says, "He's the Messiah that we need for this time." And he goes, "Okay," and then he leaves at that point. So something's going on with the choice of the Messiah for some reason. There's something that we haven't been filled in on as of yet, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be handled really ham-fistedly and haphazardly by around like the second to last episode is what we're getting. This again is smacking of being very poorly done at the end. Yeah, the wingsuit feels like they're being aware that they how to deal with consequences, and then just said, "Oh no, fuck it, yeah, wingsuit." Exactly. That's going to be the new thing. Whenever there is, whenever we have an actual uh, obvious faux pas going on where they just didn't know what the hell to do and they do something really stupid, we're just going to say fucking wing. No, just wingsuit. Wingsuit. That's it. Fuck it. Wingsuit. So we see Eugene praying over the dead clerk's body, and he's telling the saint that Jesse's not going to come back. And the saint goes, "No, he will. He'll come back because he knows I'm going to hurt you if he doesn't." And Eugene kind of looks at him at that point, and he's like, "Ah, shit." And we see Jesse goes to a construction site and uses the voice in order to stop everyone from working, and that attracts the attention of the saint, of course. So Cass tells Tulip it's time to go, and he downs his last drink, and he goes, "It's time to go and get Jesse." And she's like, "No, I don't think so. I'm not going to do it." And he goes, "What? We're going to go get our boy." And she's like, "No, I don't think so. I don't think we need to do it." She goes, "I'm going to go fix the car, and then Jesus and he wants to go to Vegas. So we're going to go and see, he wants to go see Vegas. So we're going to go see Vegas." And she goes, "You're welcome to come along." And he's not sure if he wants to go, of course, at this point. So the Saint and Eugene come to the construction site, and Jesse hits the Saint with a wrecking ball a la Bugs Bunny. Obviously, he's been watching a lot of Bugs Bunny Roadrunner cartoons, and that was what his whole thing was. He grabs Eugene and they run at this point. So Jesus is admiring Tulip's car, and she, asked Jesus, okay, she asked Jesus, is it okay with him going? Doesn't he have any other stuff to do? And he's like, "Well, I got this one conference to do, but I was born a man. I was meant to walk amongst the people." And she's like, "Okay, well, as long as you don't, as long as no one's going to miss you, that's cool. Let's go, kind of thing." So Cass is sitting at the bar when the angel comes in. He's all dressed up in a suit and everything. And, he's worked up because he's been tied up for a long time. He's a little sexually frustrated, shall we say. And he asks Cass, how things are going with his girl. And Cass is like, "It's not my girl." He goes, about forbidden love again and all this stuff. And Cass finally goes, "Will you shut the fuck up about the forbidden love thing? It's not going to happen." And that's when the angel looks at him and goes, "She's here." And it's the demon that he's in love with. And they end up doing a little dance to Queen, and they finally embrace with him spreading his wings, her tail, and her horns, and they embrace. And they're the ones that we know were the ones that created the voice, the baby that came from their union, of course. So Eugene and Jesse break into a car, and they're sitting there, and Eugene asks Jesse why he didn't come to go get him when he was in hell. And, Jesse goes, "I didn't know I could do that." He goes, "It's no excuse, really. It's no good excuse." He goes, "But I really didn't know I could do that." He goes, "I'm a terrible preacher." He goes, "You deserve a lot better. You're a good person. You're a good Christian," is what he tells him. And he says, "I feel bad about what I did, and I'm sorry." And Eugene says, "Thanks," and Jesse tries to hotwire the car, and he goes, "I've seen Tulip do this 1,000 times." He goes, "Is it blue wire or red wire?" And when he goes to touch the wire, he sets off the car alarm, and they have to get out and run. So Jesus is in the car with Tulip, and they're smoking a joint, and he says, "Yeah," he goes, "I made it. That was my first sin." He goes, No, wait, it was two sins because she was married," and he's talking about making his son, of course, at that point. And he goes, "And now my son is the Messiah," and Jesus says Humperdew is God's favorite. Goes, then rightfully so. God knows, he knows best. And Tulip laughs and goes, you know what? God's an asshole. And he goes, don't say that. He goes, no, he is. He's an asshole. And she passes the joint over to Jesus and then lays on the horn, yelling for Cass to come out. And Cass is inside the bar talking to the barkeep as the angel and demon are fucking upstairs. I mean, really just going at it to the point where the chandelier is bouncing, and there's dust coming down. And the barkeep is actually worried about his bar coming down at this point, that they're going to destroy the bedroom and the rest of the bar as well. And, he ends up talking to the barkeep about, free will. And he goes, yeah, I'm kind of like Han Solo, He goes, you ever see Star Wars? And he goes, moving pictures? That is against Allah's will. So no, I have not seen it. Which was kind of funny. So, Tulip finally says, you know what? Fuck it. He's not coming out. Jesus gets into the passenger seat. They take off, hauling ass across the desert. And as they're all like screaming like woohoo and all this stuff as it starts off. And then, of course, as any road trip happens, boredom sets in. And she goes, well, we could do anything we want, man. And he goes, okay. Jesus says, like, wow, cool. Like what? She goes, well, we can go and watch TV, get high, do this, do that. You could rob a bank. And then we see her and Jesus going into a bank, robbing the bank, and Jesus with the shotgun accidentally shooting a guy in the leg. And the guy's like, Jesus, which was actually pretty fucking funny. We end up, of course, seeing that this is all in Jesus's mind, is what he sees. And she's like, well, it's not going to turn out that bad. And he goes, it could. And she's like, well, we're not going back. And sure enough, they end up traveling back towards Masada. So the angel and demon come back down to the bar, and the angel's wondering what the hell Cass is still doing there. And Cass is like, free will, man. I took your advice to heart. You said free will. I'm not going. He goes, I decided not to go. Yeah, I agree with you, Viking bitch. There was too much pointless exposition again. And this is because they are spinning their wheels. They don't know what to do, and they don't have that much money, and it's the final season. So they're just trying to pump as much time into it as possible. And that's what we got. And as he's sitting there talking to Cass, and Cass is mentioning the free will and everything, the angel pulls a sword out of his, back there and throws it at the demon and kills her, putting the sword in her head. And he's like, what the hell, man? I thought you loved her. And he says, I do, but she's a demon. And she, of course, regenerates, comes down, and an epic fight ensues, of course, at this point. Yeah. Eugene, in the meantime, watches Jesse knock out a cop, and he looks there stunned, and Jesse's like, he's still alive. Don't worry about it. He's still alive. I didn't kill him. Just get in the car. So Jesse gets in there, and Eugene bends down to take a look at the cop, and he takes the cop's gun. That's what we see. And then jumps into the back seat of the car. And they're listening to the police radio as they're driving along, and we notice that the Saint of Killers is also listening to the police radio from one of the cops that he killed, and it has hanging upside down in the tree. He's listening to the radio that way. So Eugene's in the back seat, and Eugene, Jesse's like, you're kind of quiet. What's going on? And Eugene says, well, you did come back and apologize. And he says, but that still isn't enough. And he pulls the gun that he has, that he grabbed from the cop, and he shoots Jesse. And we see the car swerve and stop. So Jesus and Tulip are talking about God again. And, his whole thing about God is always, always right kind of thing. And God knows best. And she goes, you know what? You don't have to say this, but God is an asshole, is what she says. And Jesus gets out of the car, and he's like, he's not having any of it. He's kind of pissed off, honestly. And he says, you know what? Just because, she goes, well, I'm not coming with you. I'm not coming with you to help you. And he goes, that's all right. You don't have to. It's all about free will. And he goes, he's going back because he's responsible. He doesn't want to get in trouble, kind of thing. It's the only thing they've told him to do in 2,000 years. And he says, he agrees that just because we have free will, that's what makes it so hard. He goes, because you can do the right thing or you can do the wrong thing. And Tulip ends up peeling out without Jesus. She leaves. So Cass, in the meantime, is gowning up to go out into the sun there. And the Angel and Demon are just fucking up the bar big time. And the barkeep is hiding behind the bars. Stuff is flying everywhere. They're dying, regenerating. We've seen this before in the first season. And coming back and just beating the crap out of each other. He gets outside and Tulip's, out there waiting for him. And he gets in the car and goes, "Where's Jesus?" She goes, "He had to leave. He had something to do." And so they leave. So Jesus arrives at the Apocalypse Summit with Hitler and Herr Starr already there. And Jesus refused to shake Hitler's hand. He goes, I know what you've done. He goes, but I will give you a hug. And they start the summit to start the apocalypse at this point. So Cass and Tulip are driving down the road and they're talking about going to Australia. And Cass is like, it's one of the most deadly continents. She goes, yeah, I know, with all those sharks around. He goes, not just sharks. There's spiders. There's giant bats that are big enough to pick up a small child. And he goes, and then the koalas. The koalas have chlamydia. Yeah. And then we cut back to Jesse. And Jesse's crawling out of the cop car with Santa Killers outside there. And he's got a big chest wound. And he rolls over and passes out at Eugene's feet. And that's where we leave off the episode. So I agree with you, Viking bitch. This is all too much exposition and not enough moving the fucking story along. Yeah, koalas with chlamydia. That is actually true, by the way. The koalas do have chlamydia, which is a weird thing. I actually read that a long time ago, and yeah, it's just a weird thing. But and welcome everybody who joined me while I was talking there. Sorry, I didn't stop to say hi. Yeah, I agree with you, Stanley. This episode is spinning its wheels, and this whole season has been spinning wheels. It's all like, at first we thought it was just because God was trying to fuck with them and slow things down to keep them from getting to the apocalypse or stopping the apocalypse. But yeah, the face cream has foreskin, exactly. That whole stuff, I mean, all of it has been, we're not getting to the fucking story. That's all I'm saying. We're not getting to the story. Get to the story. I mean, there's a lot of little side things, little side jokes, things like that they were throwing in there that doesn't need to be there because we need the story to move along. You don't have that many episodes this season. What is it, 10 episodes or is it 8 episodes? I think it's 10 episodes, if I remember correctly. I didn't get a chance to look at it before I went on. But yeah, they need to move this stuff along. I mean, we're at episode 5. That means we have, if it's 10 episodes, we have 5 episodes left. If we have 8 episodes, we only have 3 episodes left. So they need to move things along just a little bit. Story-wise. And how we're getting to him, to Jesse falling out of the plane, out of the sky in Australia and dying, we don't know. Yeah, obviously they'll get to the apocalypse and then I'll fuck it, wingsuit. Yeah, exactly, Apple Crow. I agree with you. It's just going to be another wingsuit opportunity. They're not going to end this well. It's not going to be a good ending on this at all. We're not going to get a good Legion ending off of it. So we're going to get more like a Game of Thrones ending. Maybe not that bad, but pretty bad. I mean, have we still even heard the angel's name? I still have not heard the angel's name at all. I know they have source material, exactly, Viking bitch. Why not just use it? Well, I think they've gone so far off the source material at this point that they're coming back around to using the last book, but they're kind of mixing some other crap into it as well. It does say 10, right? Pen Farm Girl. Okay, I thought I remember that it was 10. So yeah, you only have 5 episodes left. You're halfway through the season. You're halfway through your final season, and you're still spinning your wheels on the story. I mean, Yeah. It's ridiculous, quite honestly. I don't know what to say. But yeah, so I agree with all of you on this. It's just gonna be a pissy one to end off on again. I mean, man, just plan the shit out. That's all I'm saying. Plan it out. That's why I liked how Legion ended with 3 seasons. They knew where they were going with it. They had a beginning, a middle, and an end. Holly has gone on record as saying that's the way he planned this, and it shows. You actually had a good ending. You know, not maybe not everyone liked the ending, but that was the way it was done. It was actually planned out that way. It's a shame because it has such potential. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I mean, season 2 killed it for me with the whole waiting around in New Orleans. New Orleans just, yeah, sucked the life out of the show, quite honestly. And it sucked the life out of the show for a lot of other people too. That's why they never came back. That's why they had shitty, that's why they had a drop in ratings. And I believe they're still having a drop in ratings right now. You know, God, that's all I can say. I know Legion had a drop in ratings too. I'm comparing apples to oranges here, but still, but they were still, FX was still going gung ho with it and just letting them go with it and letting them end it because they're going to keep Noah happy because he's involved in a whole bunch of stuff with their, with that network. So tomorrow I'm going to be doing The Boys, episode 6 of The Boys tomorrow. And Tuesday I'm going to do episode 7. Wednesday I'm going to do the second half of Woo Assassins season 1. And Thursday I'm going to be off. And Friday I'm going to do episode 8 of The Boys. That's right. I'm finishing off The Boys this week. And then on Saturday, of course, is Saturday Morning Blast Off. Sunday, of course, we're coming back around the horn with Preacher. And then the week after, Labor Day week, there is when all the new stuff starts. So that's going to be a lot of fun. That is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Yeah. So stick around. This week is the summer slump. Exactly, Stanley. That's why I'm pumping it up with The Boys. You won't be able to make it for that's okay, Apple Crow. You can still enter the contest on that last video. Although I don't know if I should make people who have already won prizes eligible for the contest once they've won something. Yeah, I'll still do it. What the hell? I don't give a shit. Exactly. Like, share, and subscribe. And take a look, follow, all that kind of stuff. All right. Since good night, Viking bitch. Yeah, I'm getting ready to head out here myself. And, because it is late. And Iari Williams, they're going to kill God. Well, it's about time. Remember when the summer TV hole was months long? Oh, I remember, Stanley. I remember. Yeah. And thanks you made it this far, Viking bitch. Thank you, everybody, by the way, who was in the chat tonight. And thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about joining up, by the way, if you're watching this as a video, you can take a look and see there's going to be a little video up here. It's going to take a video from my vast video library, they being YouTube, and it's going to match them to the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching. And they're going to pop a video straight up here, especially for you, for my vast video library. And up here is going to be Saturday Morning Blast Off. You can take a look and see what that's all about. And if you like that, then you can hit the subscribe button down below there. And also the like button as well. There we go. And as my great moderator, Pen Farm Girl, has been doing, she's putting all that information up there for you guys. My Twitter, my Facebook, and Patreon. And what day will I'll actually get to it and put some shit up there? Yes. Yes, Saturday Morning Blast Off does rock. It's a lot of fun. And yes, thank you, Pen, for wrenching. Definitely. Definitely. With that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the evening because I know it's late for you guys on the, excuse me, on the East Coast. Excuse me there. My throat was starting to close up. It's still in the 80s here right now, which is kind of unusual right now for this time of night. So I'm a little bit sweating and a little bit dry, shall we say. It's kind of weird, sweating and dry. But anyway, I'll let you guys go for the evening. Thank you, everybody who joined me in the chat. Thank you, everyone who's watching out there. And I will see you tomorrow for the boys. I'm probably going to be 6:30 is what I'm going to do it at. With that said, I'm going to let you guys go. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, because otherwise you may end up getting hit by a wrecking ball as you're trying to hunt down the guy with the voice. Thanks, everybody. Good night.